What's going on, everybody? I am trying to pull up the live here in the group so I can see your comments. Welcome. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing start to your week. Here we go. All right. Man, my computer is just sluggish today. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you're having a great week and really kicking off this week on the right foot, getting the things done that you need to get done, and really just living life to its fullest. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I will tell you guys, I'm going to apologize in advance for the more casual appearance today. Our air is out in our home and has been since Friday. I thought they were coming today to fix it, but they are actually coming tomorrow. And I just realized I still have a mint in my mouth, so excuse me. Okay, that was going to get annoying really fast. Anyway, so it is warm in here. It's 80 degrees outside. I'm in South Carolina. And so, yeah, that's why we're a little more casual today, because it's hot as all get out. Anyway, happy Monday. Like I said, hope you're having a great week. And today I'm really excited to dive into database. I absolutely love automation and I love organization and all of those things. And so, the database is one thing that I think as realtors, we tend to not put enough effort and focus on, especially because in the beginning, you might not have a very large database. And then you get a couple years in and you're trying to find consistency in your business. And you're like, oh, I don't have a database, or I should have a database, but I don't. And it becomes a whole big mess that you just don't want to tackle because it's too big of a project, right? It's too much to take on, and it probably gives you a lot of anxiety, right? So today we're going to talk about your database. We're going to dive into how to start your database if you don't have a database yet, like if you haven't organized one. We're going to talk about the different ways to protect your database. We're going to talk about the different ways to utilize your database, and we're going to dive into what to look for in a CRM. Because if you are looking to use your database to help promote your business and to help bring you more clients, you're going to need to put it into some sort of CRM, customer relationship management system, to help you leverage that database to get more business. Does that sound good to everybody? Are you excited to learn about that? Is that something that you're interested in? If you are here with me today and you're live, we'll roll right in. If you're live, comment live. It's 2:00 Eastern, Monday afternoon. And so comment live if you're here with me right now. If you're watching this later, comment replay, let me know. And that's fine too. I always create these knowing that there might be some of you that can't catch us live and that are going to catch the replay. So if you're watching the replay, comment replay. If you're watching the live, comment live in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for your engagement. You know how much that fuels me and how excited I get to be able to interact with you guys. And so whenever you interact back with me, it just gives me all the good feels. So who do we have here with us? Hey, Sherry, good to hear from you today. Hey, Valerie, good to see you. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. Anybody else that's here live? Angel, thanks for hopping on. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. So we're going to dig right in because I've realized that lately some of these have been going just a tad bit long. And I want to make sure that I am giving you the best value for your time, but also not taking up too much of your time, right? I realize there is a lot of time that we waste consuming content online. And I don't want to say all of that time is a waste, but I think sometimes it's easy for us to get sucked into the technology rabbit hole. And then 30 minutes later, you look up, or 40 minutes later, or hours later, you look up and you're like, I didn't get the things done I needed to get done because I got sucked in. And while it was good to watch and I learned a lot, it wasn't what was on the list today, right? And that happens to all of the best of us. So I'm going to try to make sure that these are super jam-packed with value, but not taking up any more time than necessary. So that way you guys can get back to whatever it is you need to do today, kicking butt, taking names, and being productive in your life. Okay? Who's ready to get started? Give me a heart, give me a like, something like that if you're ready to get started. Alrighty. Awesome. So what we're going to do today, first we're going to talk about your database and setting up and getting a database going. So if you don't have a database, if you don't have a CRM with people in it, or you kind of have it hodgepodged everywhere. You've got some people on your phone, you've got people in your email, you've got people maybe in a CRM or like a company provided CRM, or if you've been in this business long enough, you have the folders, right? You have the boxes of folders of past clients that you're not really sure what you're supposed to do with those anymore. You know, you're supposed to keep them in theory, but you're not really, they just take up space, right? If you're a realtor, like, let me know, call yourself out in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you have the boxes of files in the garage or in the attic or in a spare bedroom. Because when we moved, we had so many boxes of files that it was like, why do we still have all of these? Like, as a brokerage, you know, they typically keep them on file, but it's just that protection, right? You want to make sure you're protected. So anyway, if you have all of those things, if you have people in all of those areas, then you might have a database, but it's not an organized database, right? So the first thing I want you to do is take all of those things, all of those places where you have contact information, and let's centralize it, right? Let's put it into one central location. My favorite thing to start with is a spreadsheet. Excel, I like Google Sheets because it's a live document that you can share easily, but put it in a spreadsheet. Name, first name, last name, phone number, email. Those are the basics, right? You can also add a column for past client, friend, family, that kind of thing. So start putting that data in a spreadsheet. And if you don't have the files and you don't have all kinds of things everywhere, you still have a database. You still have people. What I want you to do is I want you to start with that spreadsheet, and I want you to start putting in all of your known contacts. So start looking through the phone and start putting in every single buddy that's in your phone. You know, maybe not other realtors, but start putting in everybody that's in your phone. It's a start. Go through your email, put in everybody, because that's your sphere. Those are your people that you know. So put in all your known contacts. That's how you're going to start that database. Put it into a spreadsheet and just start filling it out. Name, first name, last name, phone number, email. You can also put an address. You can put in a column for how you know them, basically, if they're past client, friends, family. And I apologize for this lighting, guys. It is going all in and out. So if you guys are seeing that, it's better than the lighting I had this morning on another call, where it was very dark in here. But start filling out that spreadsheet with all of that information. You can even make a column for notes. You can make a column for different tags, like if they would be a buyer or a seller, that kind of thing. But bare bones basic, first name, last name, email, phone number. That's bare bones basic. I do think it would benefit you to have a column with address if you have it, but if not, no worries. And then also for how you know them. That way, whenever you get them into a CRM, it makes it that much easier to tag. So that way you can kind of organize it a little bit better. Does that make sense? So you've got your spreadsheet, you're building it out. And guys, this spreadsheet is not meant to go stagnant. This spreadsheet is meant to continuously grow, to continuously evolve, to continuously get better. Because this spreadsheet, a database, is your heartbeat of your business. The database is what allows you to pull out business, to acquire more clients when you can't get out and talk to people. You know, March 2020, April 2020, that time frame, how many of you sat there and you looked at your life and you were like, I don't know how to get clients because I can't go out and talk to people. I can't go out and hold events. I can't go out and do all the things, right? But if you had your database, then the easiest thing you could have done was to go into that database and touch base with every single person in that database. Comment 1 if you were someone who was stuck at the beginning of the pandemic and you were stuck because you didn't know how to go out and get clients. Comment 1. Comment 2 if you had your database organized and you started calling all those past clients, everybody, right away. If you started working that database in April of 2020, I really want to know from you guys. 1, if you were stuck at the beginning of the pandemic and trying to figure it all out. 2, if you had a database and within 30 to 45 days, you were calling that database like crazy, trying to procure more business without having to be able to go out and talk to people in person. And I apologize, guys. My allergies have kicked in today, so I'm a little nasally. Anyhow, so that's why your database is so important, because you need to be able to have a resource in your business to continuously attract new clients, to continuously attract new business, to make sure you're meeting your goals. So you're going to set up your database in that spreadsheet, right? You got that? What are some different ways we can use this database now? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What are some different ways that you can utilize your database once you have it organized? Once you have it either in a spreadsheet or you have it in a CRM, what are some ways that you can use that database to help you get more business? Lots of interaction. Thank you guys. Thanks. Crates and crates and crates. Oh my, yes. So many crates. We kind of flashing back a little bit on Sherry's crates comment. We had a shelf that we had put into the garage specifically just for real estate folders. And I apologize, guys. I think I'm having some signal issues, which StreamYard kind of warned me about whenever I logged on. But we had a shelf that was just full of boxes of real estate files because my husband and I both are in real estate. So it was endless and it was a nightmare. All right. Yep. You can video your database. Yeah. You can use that database through video, or you can video that database to get more clients. That's a really good one. Any others? I know we have more of y'all on here. So the biggest thing that you can use that database for is communication, whether that's video, whether that's emails. Lori just said past clients always like a CMA after a couple of years after they purchase, or current stats on the local market. Yes. Like, guys, go look at your clients that you sold houses to 3 and 4 years ago and send them a CMA, because you know their price has gone up at this point. Unless it has just completely gone to shambles, the house, their price has gone up and they might be starting to get that itch. Not saying they want to move just yet, but they might want to talk about it. They might want to see what the options are. They might be worth a conversation. And guys, remember, the first step is that you want to create conversations. We're trying to create conversations, which create appointments, which create clients. So I really love that one. Jerry said postcards. Yes. So communication, video, postcards, CMAs, emails, text messages, you name it. Once you have that database organized, you can then use your database through all those different communication avenues to help attract more business to yourself. I just keep getting the bounce in and out of signal. To help communicate with your database, to remind them, hey, this is what I do. This is how I want to help you, right? I think I've said this to you guys before. You have to stay in contact with your database at least 32 times a year. 32 times a year to stay top of mind. That's a lot, right? That's more than twice a month. So think about it. Think to yourself, you don't have to comment. Are you staying in touch with your database 32 times a year? You don't have to call them all 32 times, but let's say you send them postcards, you send them newsletters, you send them emails, you send them text messages, you send them all these different things. Then it starts to add up, right? Maybe you do a pop by or an event or something along those lines. It starts to add up. So once you have your database organized, and like I said, if you're looking to start your database, you can start it in that spreadsheet. It's a really great starting point. The reason why I like it in a spreadsheet is because you can export it as a CSV. It's a .csv file. Google Sheets and Excel both do that. They will both allow you to save as or export as a CSV file. And then you can upload it to just about anywhere that is going to help you create communication to the masses will accept a CSV file. So that's why I like starting in a spreadsheet. Now, with your database, like we said, some different ways you could use it. You could email, you could do text, you could do newsletters, you could do invitations to events, or maybe to a reverse pop by. It is the way that you communicate with your audience. But we've got this database, right? We're using this database in all these different ways to stay in touch with our people, to make sure that we stay top of mind to them, and we're getting business out of it. Like, our database is our gold mine, right? It's our heartbeat, it's living, it's breathing, and all that. I want to talk to you guys about something really important. You need to protect that database. We don't wear our hearts outside of our body, right? Our hearts, they pump our blood, they keep us going. We don't wear those outside of our body, right? No, we keep it inside where it's protected. All of our organs are protected by our body, by our ribs, different parts of our bone structure, our skeleton. Your database needs to stay protected. Don't rely on it just sitting in one spot and thinking it's always going to be good there forever. Making sure that you're having backups of your database is really important. So if you have your database in a CRM already, making sure you're exporting out a CSV file of it, I would put it on your calendar as a recurring task, say once a month. Go in, export your database out to a spreadsheet, save it in 2 different places. Save it on your computer, save it to the cloud somewhere, like a Google Drive. Do that once a month, make it a reoccurring habit, so that way you always have a backup. Because if for some reason the servers of that CRM go down, or something happens to that CRM, you don't want to lose your entire database, right? So making sure that you're exporting your database from your CRM and saving it in multiple locations is always a great way to protect your database. Remember, this is your heartbeat, your heart of your business. Another way to protect your database, and this is one that's not techie at all, stay in contact with them. If you have a database that's just sitting there and nothing's happening, then what's going on there is other people are starting to talk to your people, right? You have your database, but if you're not talking to them and staying in front of them and giving them value, somebody else is. Somebody else is out there talking to them. And bit by bit, your database is going to fall apart because it's being picked off by other people because you're not giving it the love and the nurture and the nutrition that it needs. Does that make sense? So making sure you're staying in contact with your database is really critical and crucial to protecting your database. You need to make sure that your people remember that you're the center of their community when it comes to real estate. So staying in contact with them and then backing up often, and there was another word there that I just, but making sure you're always backing it up so that way you don't have to worry. Or what happens if you decide to change brokerages and it's stuck into your CRM? And then you change brokerages, but you don't get your contacts out fast enough and they shut down your access and then it's all gone, right? Like how much would that suck? Like that would massively suck, right? And I hear it happen all the time. So backing up, if you had it backed up every month, even if they fired you or, they caught wind that you were looking to move and they shut you down, that's fine. Maybe I lost my contacts from the last 2 to 4 weeks. But honestly, if that was all you were missing, you could probably recreate that pretty easily, right? That'd be a lot easier to recreate than losing your contacts from the past 10 years if you were at that brokerage for 10 years or 3 years or even a year, right? So making sure you're backing it up, always having that saved somewhere outside in your own personal areas on the cloud and a hard copy if you can. That's a third way. Like if you really want to go, like you could always print a copy, have a copy that gets printed, saved in your files, that kind of thing. Might take up some paper, but worst come to worst, if the whole internet shuts down and technology gremlins come to play, like your database is safe, right? So it depends on your level of preparedness that you want to do. So far we've talked about how to start your database. We've talked about how to protect your database. We've talked about how to utilize your database. Do you guys have questions so far? While you guys start putting those in, if you have questions, then I'm going to read over the comments real quick. Lori said, especially if housing needs change after COVID, work from home options. Yes. Like how many people did we see do that? Like in the first 12 months of the pandemic, we saw so many people make moves because they needed more space. Like we went from like the mid 2000s, 2010 era was like the boxes, right? We wanted the boxes. We needed lots of space, big rooms, all of this stuff. And then 2010 to, I would say 2010, 2012 to 2020, we saw this downsize, right? People wanted more character. They wanted more features, things like that. So they were buying smaller, right? They were only buying what they needed so they could get all the extra luxuries. Well, then in 2020, we saw this pop of people who were all of a sudden buying homes now because they needed space. They couldn't go anywhere. So they needed yards, they needed pools, they needed extra rooms for offices, things like that. Yeah, that was definitely a big pop. Are you guys still seeing that? Curious. Are you still seeing people buying for more because of needing more space or work from home options? Like what are the reasons you guys are seeing that people are buying? Is it vastly different or is it kind of gone back to like some normal reasons why people would buy as in previous pre-pandemic years? I would love to hear that. All right. I'm not seeing any questions roll in. And it could be that we're still on delay, but so I'll try to catch those as they come in. Now, what do you look for in a CRM? So we've talked about putting your database in a spreadsheet, and we talked about how to utilize your database, but it could get really tedious, right? To have to go down that list one by one and text them, email them, send out a newsletter, that kind of thing, get really tedious, right? So that's where a CRM comes in, a customer relationship management system, whatever you want to call it. We use CRMs to help us leverage our database, leverage our time to stay in contact with our people, right? So you're thinking about getting into a CRM, and maybe your company provides one, maybe they don't. But here's what I encourage you to look for, whether it's your company provided CRM or if you're looking to start paying like a monthly subscription for a CRM. And if you guys are interested in hearing what some of my favorite CRMs are, then let me know in the comments and I will make a post sharing some of those names, or I might do it on here. Depends on how much you guys engage on here as to whether or not I share what my favorite CRMs are. All right, so what do we look for in a CRM? First of all, we want to make sure that it is something that will allow us to text and email. Your CRM should be able to text and email for you. You should be able to set up, a mass text or mass email if you want, or even if you don't want to mass text and email, the ability to text and email is really important. Make sure it has that from your CRM. Second thing, my favorite thing is campaigns or automation. The ability to create automation within your business will help you leverage your time so significantly that you won't even know, like once you get accustomed to using automation, you are not going to know how to go back. When something breaks, you're going to get frustrated because, and trust me, automation does break. It is inevitable, but you're going to get frustrated because of how much time and how much ease it gives you once it's all set up and rolling. So having it be able to do some sort of campaign or automations or something along those lines, workflows, every CRM company calls it a little something different, but automation is what you're looking for. That's my second big thing. So first thing, emails and texts, make sure it can do those. My number 2 item is make sure it has the ability to do campaigns, automations, things like that, so that you don't have to hit the send button every time you want to send an email. Number 3, make sure you can tag or you can do segmentation. Again, every company is going to call it a little something different, but you want the ability to categorize your people. So if you want to just pull up a list of all your buyers, you want to be able to do that. If you want to be able to pull up a list of all of your 2021 clients, you should be able to do that. So the ability to create tags or create segments within your database is going to be significant so that you can have a more targeted approach at your marketing efforts. Number 4, landing pages. Okay, so I did not realize how big of a deal this was to me until recently. And I was working within a CRM that I'd not worked within before, and it doesn't have the ability to do landing pages. And that was super frustrating for me because landing pages are what allow you to lead generate. So my other side to that is if your CRM doesn't allow you to do landing pages, at least have a website for yourself that you can do landing pages from, that you can lead capture, that can collect information. Landing pages are the most common phrase for what we're looking for here. So if you can find a database or a CRM that also allows you to do landing pages, custom landing pages, or they even offer templates, that's a bonus. Making sure that that is something that you have so that you can continue to grow your database is really important. All right, what did we have here? I think we're number 5. Notes. Obviously, the ability to put notes into your CRM based on the contact is really important. You want to be able to keep track of all those special things you learn about people. So being able to put notes into your CRM is really important. And then last but not least is the ability for your client or your people, your audience, your database to unsubscribe. We want to be respectful. We want to respect all of the privacy laws and everything like that, and you have to give them a way to unsubscribe. Most CRMs will do that, but just make sure you dig deep and make sure you're operating properly on that. So the way to unsubscribe. So what do we look for in a CRM? Email textability. I missed automation. I didn't have automation actually written down, but it came to me as we were talking. Tagging or segmenting, landing pages, notes, and unsubscribe. Those 6 things, those are my big 6 things when you're looking for a CRM, making sure they have those things. So if you have a CRM that you're working on right now, I encourage you to take a good long look at it and see if it has those things, because those are the things that are going to allow you to better utilize your database to attract more business, to grow your business. That felt very redundant, but it's okay. All right. Lori said, how do you treat your SOI differently than a marketing farm per se? Is one more important than the other? I kind of know for myself, but love to hear different perspective and discussion. So yes, I do think that it is different. And I do think one is more important. In my opinion, your SOI is more important because those are relationships you already have, and you want to continue to nurture those, in my opinion. You want to continue to love on those because they're going to have the greatest rate of return as opposed to a marketing farm. Now, a marketing farm is important, and it is something that is a really great way to get new business, to get new eyeballs, but you don't want to neglect. It would be kind of like having another child. You don't want to have another child and just neglect the ones you've already had, right? You need to continue to kind of nurture those relationships. And it is oftentimes important to make sure you put a lot of emphasis maybe on some of those firstborns, give them that extra special time, because they might not at first comprehend or grasp why all of a sudden now you're having to give time somewhere else. And not that your SOI would recognize that you're giving your time somewhere else, but they also don't want to feel forgotten, right? They don't want to feel like they're just an afterthought and that you just come to them when business is slow. So making sure that you're giving them that extra love. That is my opinion. I'd love to know your opinion, Lori, your perspective. Chris said, what are your favorite CRMs? Okay, I got one person who wants to know what my favorite CRMs are. Lori said, this is so helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad that I could be of help today. All right. Angel said, do you share your favorite CRM? Any advantage to a CRM with a monthly fee? Okay. So in my opinion, if you want to get all 6 things that we mentioned earlier, you're typically going to be paying a monthly fee in some way, shape, or form. Now, your company, there are definitely a lot of companies out there that offer CRMs that have all those things, and you might not have to pay for them. For example, the brokerage that my husband and I own, the CRM that we offer to our agents, they don't have to pay a monthly fee for. They don't have to pay anything for. But it has all of those things because it was important to the franchise that we purchased into, and it was important to us that our agents have that level of technology. So we want to, typically, not to get off track there, but typically any CRM that has all of those things, you're going to end up having to pay a monthly fee for. So now, whatever that monthly fee is varies. It could be $20 a month. It could be like KB Core, for example, you can pay like $200 to $300 a month for. I think Boomtown's pretty expensive as well. There are definitely some really expensive ones out there, but I've gotten enough people. I will share some of my favorite CRMs, and I'll give you the price ranges of what they are, because these CRMs, in my opinion, either they do all 6 or they do enough things to make it worthwhile, in my opinion. Okay, let me pull up my list. I actually don't have it up yet. So here we go. I know where I have it easily accessible though. Let's see. All right. So I have 4 that I'm going to share with you guys today. And before I get into that, Sherry said, do most CRMs have a feature to allow scheduling of the next follow-up date? So most CRMs will allow you to create tasks. So they won't, if they're on a campaign, then it will create that task for you automatically. But if you don't have them on a campaign, or you don't have a campaign set up that includes tasks, then you can create a task with like a due date. So most will allow that. And then they'll have somewhere in your CRM that it will remind you of that task for the follow-up date, if that makes sense. All right. So my favorite CRMs, number 1 is Liondesk. And I will, okay, let me backtrack on this a little bit. I'm going to be full transparency here because it's really important to me to be fully transparent with you guys. I don't use any of these. And the reason being because I actually have my own CRM that I am in the process of developing. And I know a few people that I do have on here using it. But it's not something that I want to release out to everybody yet. But my CRM is based off of a platform called High Level that's only available to agencies, and it allows me to do all of those things. So I am in the process of building out a CRM that's going to have all of those things, and is also going to include a variety of campaigns, support, landing pages, all of those things to help you grow your business. Not released yet. This is not a sales pitch, not available. But I wanted to be fully transparent that I am working off of a separate platform that is in development, and I only have my experience through these because I have seen them in action with my clients. I have tried them. I have seen them with other fellow marketers that I've worked with. So that is where my experience comes from with these. Number one is Liondesk. And Liondesk is, if I didn't have the CRM that I'm in right now that I'm developing, then Liondesk would be the CRM I would probably be using. It's between $25 and $99 a month. Obviously, there's a range of price points, licenses, things like that. But one of the things, the notes that I have about Liondesk that kind of really stand out to me are that it does, you can do email, text, all that good stuff. You can do all 6 things, but it also offers a free 30-day trial. It can help you create Facebook ads. You can set task reminders like what you talked about, Sherry. Video text. Oh, my list moved funny. You can do video text, text and email automation, custom landing pages. You can do your transaction management in there, drip campaigns. It has a call dialer. So it is flush with features, and it's not that expensive considering everything it comes with. So Liondesk is my absolute number one favorite CRM that if I wasn't using the one that I'm developing, then I would be using Liondesk. Number 2 is Wise Agent. And here I will write in the chat real quick. I'll start writing these down, and then I'll hit send once we go over all 4. Number 2 is Wise Agent. Wise Agent is pretty cool. Oh, goodness, I got away from my list. Wise Agent is pretty cool. It's between $32 a month and $326 a year. It looks a little bit more like easier to use, I would say. Liondesk is super robust. And so like if you're pretty tech savvy, like you can do a lot with it, but it might not be the easiest to figure out if you're not, rather tech comfortable. Wise Agent looks a little bit easier to use. They have drip campaigns. They have free support. Most of the CRM companies you'll find you have to pay for support. And I tried to find things that were really like under $100 a month, guys. That was really important to me because I have a hard time telling an agent or asking an agent to pay between $300 and $500 a month for a CRM. Doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile. It's just, I understand if you're just getting started with the CRM that it might be a really big pill to swallow. So if you can find something that can do very similar things, but for a little bit less, that's what I would do. So Wise Agent can do drip campaigns, free support. They have a transaction manager. They do landing pages. You can also do a monthly newsletter. They have a monthly newsletter feature, which I thought was pretty cool. But again, like the big thing with Wise Agent was that it felt a lot more like user friendly for people who might not be as tech comfortable. Number 3, and I'm just trying to write these in here for you guys. Number 3 was Zoho CRM. So Zoho has been around for ages, and they have so many different arms of things that they offer. But their CRM in the back in the day was super simple, and they do offer a free option, but it doesn't have hardly any features. But when I was just getting started with the idea of putting together a database, Zoho is what I used. So I did use it in the very beginning. I haven't used their paid versions with all their options and everything yet, but Zoho is what I used to organize my contacts, to keep notes with them, to keep them in a place where I could easily keep in contact. Zoho is what I used. It's about $20 a month for their paid service. It's really easy to use. They have pipelines, which I'm a big fan of. If you can create pipelines, like which are different stages that you can move your contacts through, that's really helpful for like transaction management. And you can do mass emails. I don't think, if I remember correctly, you can do texting through Zoho. That was the big thing, and that's why it's only number 3 on my list, not number 1 or 2. Even though it's at a good price point, I don't think you can text. So I just remember it being easy to use. They do have the ability to do pipelines, and you can create mass emails with them. And number 4, who's ready for number 4 while I type this in? All right. Number 4 is HubSpot. Now, you may have heard of HubSpot, or maybe you haven't. But HubSpot, here's the reason why I've put it at number 4. It is insanely robust. It does a lot. It's really easy, in my opinion, to get lost in HubSpot. It's really easy to get confused, in my opinion. But that could also just be my brain, right? Like, our brains are all wired a little differently. It could be my brain that's not, just doesn't follow it for some reason. But I will tell you, with HubSpot, it was about $45 a month. It does have a ton of features. You can do landing pages. You can do email marketing. You can do ad management with like Facebook ads and things like that. So it does have a ton of features for a really good price point, in my opinion. But it is number 4 because I just find it a little bit more difficult to use. But they are a very big name in the CRM game. So those are my top 4 CRMs. Oh, and I'm going to send this comment so you guys can see them. There we go. Okay. So those are my top 4 CRMs and my top favorites. But with that, I want to know, how many of you in here are currently utilizing a CRM? Give me a 1 in the comments if you have a CRM that you regularly utilize, and give me a 2 if you have a CRM but you don't touch it. You don't do anything with it. 1, if you regularly utilize your CRM. 2, if you have a CRM but you don't touch it. 3, if you don't have a CRM at all. If you don't have it and you're just like, hey, I'm just trying to figure out how to get started, how to like tap into this whole database concept to grow my business. That's me, is 3. That's what I want to hear from you. Got 2s, got a couple 2s. Got a lot of 2s. Okay. Yeah, you're not alone. Like, see, you are not alone, and that's okay. That is why you're here probably watching this video, because you're like, I need to do better. So what I would love to do is I would love to hear from you guys who, some of my 2s here, or even my 3s, love to hear from you guys. What is it that is holding you back from jumping in and utilizing your CRM more? I want to know what it is that's kind of holding you back from taking advantage of that CRM. And in the meantime, I'm going to challenge you to reach out to me so that way we can look at your database, we can look at your CRM, and we can try to figure out how to make it work for you, or if you need to jump ship to another CRM. But I challenge you guys to send me a message or comment CRM in the comments in the chat, and I'll reach out to you. And we can set up a call to look at your database and figure out how you can better utilize it. Have a little chat about what's going on with that database, why maybe it's not working for you, or how to make it easier to work for you to get you more business. So does that sound cool? Deal? All right, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I really appreciate you guys hopping on with me today and bearing with me as I sweat it out here in this house. But I would love to hear from more of you guys and love to see what kind of things you guys are putting in action from these trainings, because I love coming and doing them every single Monday. And honestly, I've thought about adding another one in the week, but I don't want it to be overkill. But love so much talking to you guys and training and learning, teaching more new things about what's going on in the business. I would love to have some of you on occasionally. Maybe that's what our second series will be, is having somebody on and just kind of like workshopping it, right? I think that would be kind of cool. Let me know if you think that would be neat. So I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have a fantastic Monday, rest of your day, and I will talk to everybody soon, and I will see you live inside the group next Monday. And throughout the emails and the texts and all the things, you guys know I stay in contact with you. If you ever need anything at all, if you ever have questions or you want to talk more, feel free to respond to any of those areas, and I will be happy to respond, and we will get right on it and talk very soon. Have a good one, you guys. I will talk to you later.